guys, gals, non-binary pals. It's DMG, and welcome back to Blitz. You thought they were gone, but they are back. This is the map guide. Next in line, we have Yamato Harbor. I know I haven't done a map guide in a while, and I may be a little bit rusty when going over spots, but hey, game hasn't changed. I've still been playing, so really, as long as I highlight what's important, you guys should be okay. Like I said before, with most other map guides, this is how I play the map. And I wouldn't say it's the only way to play the map, but this is just the opinion of one 70% super uni. So take that opinion for what you may. Anyways, let's get into it quickly. So Yamato Harbor is a map. It's kind of like Middleburg in a sense, where one side doesn't exist. Now let's think about which side it is. Is it the side with all the hills and the rolling berms, or is it the town with the ship? If Middleburg, Oasis Palms, and any other map where there is a town and a hill area is any indicator as to where you should go, I would normally assume that you should probably go to the field. And if you've answered that already, you're doing something right in the beginning. So don't worry about playing A. No one should ever go A. I do not care if you are in a mouse or if you are in an E100, an IS-7, an IS-4, a Jagdpanzer E100. You do not go A. No one goes A. A is for idiots. Never go A. It is a terrible idea because you get stuck here and you get farmed at A. And I'll show you why, actually. So if we drive all the way over here, it is very easy to get shot at when you're trying to cap the base. And crossing the base means you're taking 2 or 3 shots. Now, if you're at tier 10 and you're receiving that from like a standard medium, that's 600 to 700 health right off your heavy tank hit point pool. For a mouse, that's 700 out of, let's say, 2,500 hit points, right? If we're talking standard rolls and standard health, that's quite a bit. That's over about almost 25%, I would say. A quarter of your health gone in about 7 seconds. And that's just from one tank. But anyways, if you look here, right, you can look across here and there's easy spots you can get farmed at. And keep in mind that there might be other idiots on the other side sitting here waiting, which means you're getting proxy spotted, which means your side is opened up to fire from the enemy. So it's not that great of a position to take. Playing the ship or anywhere around this ship is quite dangerous. A should only be taken as an open last resort moment of opportunity for you as a player, but not as an opening play. The town side, the ship, whatever you want to call it, does not exist. As far as I'm concerned, this is where the map begins. The field is the only side you should be playing in a medium, heavy, or a light or destroyer. Right? There's 4 classes. See, I'm a little rusty, not too much though. Anyways, this is the main TD spot. As you can see, it's mirrored on both sides. As you can see, I've knocked down this tree here. You can really knock it down any way you want. The question sometimes is asked, should you knock it down? It really depends, because if you knock it down, then they know someone has been through there or is there. But I guess on the benefit side of that, if you knock it down, you have more locations to use. So this is mirrored on the other side. You can go into the standard bush right here, go into scope, fire across at enemies that are crossing. Blind fire their bush is pretty important too. So make sure you're putting blind shots across there, even if it's HE shells, or fire your gold shells, make sure that you don't hit this part that I'm aiming at right now that is on the other side, because your heat and HE shells will be absorbed by this, meaning that you have just wasted credits. So it may be wise to fire AP first to actually break it, and then go for heat and HE, stuff like that. Or you could use this tree right here. This gives another location to use, provides a slightly different angle. You have a little bit more of a look at C as compared to here. I mean, roughly it's the same look, but it's just a different location. And keep in mind that these locations exist so that you're not always stuck here. Because if you're always here, people are just going to blind fire you and then simply take advantage of your poor positioning. But if you go into this bush and kind of switch it up on them, they may not realize it until they've received 640 alpha in their side. Additionally, if you're playing a rear or turreted tank destroyer, or actually some front mount tank destroyers work like this too, but you can put it right here as well. This allows you to take shots at people that are trying to cross through this area into your side of C, and allows you to put shots across. Another common tank destroyer location is all the way out in this corner. It exists on both sides, but I don't really use this location very much at all. If you have multiple destroyers, maybe put the third destroyer or even the second destroyer here, most likely the third, but this allows you simply to put shots at people poking on the other side of C, as well as people poking behind C, trying to defend their small little ridge. Really, that's all the tank destroyer locations that you should really ever use. I guess if your team is hell-bent on playing the town, and after you've berated them, called them stupid or whatever, and they still want to go town, this is where you should be in a destroyer, all the way in the back. This exists on both sides, maybe not in the same environment, but here, you can go right here in an E3, a Jagdpanzer E100, a 183, basically any tank destroyer in the game, camp here, fire across an A, pull back around cover in that rock formation area there. On the other side, this area exists as well for destroyers. However, it is just a simple corner. However, you are back so far that you should really never get spotted if you are here. So as I'm driving back to this location, this is where you want to be. All the way back here, simply to the red line. I know it's not very protected, but if you're driving, let's say, like a Jagdpanzer G100 or a Grill or something like that, simply fire, angle in for the Jagdpanzer, right, and you're side scraping technically off of this building right here, or in the Grill, pull in like this, boom, you're in cover, pretty easy to do. Tank destroyers really do have a great opportunity on this map to work areas that are super important. They definitely hold down the C area and they prevent people from pushing. This is one of the few maps where I think destroyers can be very, very effective, despite it not looking like a Castilla or a Canal. So keep in mind, destroyers do have a place on this map without a doubt. Now there's only 34 seconds left, but hey, we're going to go over the medium and heavy spots when I go back into the battle. But hey, most important thing I'm going to keep reiterating to you is this side always this side. You know, never play the town. If you're at the ship, you're doing it wrong. So this is where you want to play around. Well, not necessarily around that house right there. That's pretty dangerous. But you want to get to the C cap, and that's what we're going to talk about with heavies, mediums, and lights. There's all different ways that you need to learn how to work this area, which I will show next. Probably the first thing you're going to want to know is, how do we get information around this area? So the most obvious opening play for a light tank or any fast medium, so if you're in like a Leopard, if you're in a Bat Chat, LTTB like I'm driving here, RU251, M41 Bulldog, speed boost immediately. You pick up speed, you go quick, and you go right up this hill. Now, I'm going to show something very, very important about this. You want to knock down your first tree, or at least try to. Attempt to knock down your first tree. This allows you to, one, spot the enemy as mediums try to cross over here. It allows you to spot tank destroyers coming into position. It allows you to spot heavy tanks trying to cross. Now, you may get spotted, so it's important that you knock this down and back off. Or if you can't knock it down, at least spot and back off. Keep in mind that in your light tanks, you have better camouflage, so it may be a little bit easier for you to knock down a tree than it is if you would be trying to drive a Leopard up here, right? But still, this really benefits tanks with good gun depression and speed. So, i.e., the Leopard, or maybe even the STB if you can do engine boost, engine accelerator, super quick beeline up here. It allows you to, boom, look up here, spot them all, knock down the tree, fire a shot across. They'll most likely be around this area, mediums crossing to the other side, or tank destroyers, which will be, if you look here, crossing from this building to start going up through here. You'll be able to put a shot into them. But that means you immediately need to back down. Now, why am I saying you need to knock down this tree, and why is it so important? Because if you want to make another poke in this area, going straight through this book, so wherever the enemies are, going on the other side of this knockdown tree gives you the cover you need. So if they're in the tank destroyer bush, this allows me to poke up safely and get a spot into that tank destroyer bush or this area and back down again without being spotted. If the enemies are to my left, this allows me to do this and poke this way. Get spots, give myself just a few more seconds before I get spotted, and back down. Granted, usually the point of this is to do this. Because keep in mind that if they're playing the other side too and you do this, you're in front of tank destroyers and you're most likely going to be spotted, even though you're camouflaged to the enemies on the left. The last important thing that you should consider with light tanks is that if they're all playing the city, or if they are playing or some are playing the town, some are playing the city, try and knock down this one as well on your opposite side. So both trees would be to the right if I was on the south spawn. But when I've knocked down this tree here, and this is why it's so important to not play the city, because when you're around A and I'm camouflaged in a leopard and I do this, I can pick an E100 and a mouse apart so quickly. It is insane. And I am gunning at 300 millimeters of heat penetration, the best accuracy in the game. You're damn right I'm going to pen your trees, your lower plate, and your tracks. If you're in an E100 mouse, IS4, IS7, it does not matter. If you try and sit in the corner behind the ship and try and be safe, you're not. I will snipe you. And by the way, guys, there's a bunch of breakable objects. So if I see objects break, you bet your ass I'm going to fire at in front of a breakable object and get penetration. It's a pretty dead giveaway, and you're pretty hard to hit up here as well. And if you've ever read that biblical story about, casting your net to the other side, right? So here's this building here, right? You're on one side firing shots away. They want to cross and engage your heavies over here. If they just want to cross in general, you can get shots at this side too as they try and push through your own spawn. It makes a real easy farming opportunity for like 3 or 4 shots. Probably more if you're able to really abuse it. Granted, tanks with low penetration like the Comet, while they do have that high fire rate, may not be the most advantageous because they have that low penetration, and this is quite a distance shot, so you will be suffering that distance loss. Supercharge is recommended for those APCR firing guns. Anyways, that's the opening play you want to make with your light tanks. If you have a fast tank, the middle hill is the area you want to go, without a doubt. Now, there are supporting positions that you can take in heavies or slower heavies, and I'm going to show you these right now, but they're not as important. I can go over them in 2 minutes. This spot is mirrored on both sides. You can abuse this in like T-34s, T-32s, things with gun depression. You can even abuse this with support mediums. Here is a good place for IS-7s and IS-4s right here. It really is a supporting position. Don't really only commit one tank to here. It's not that important, but hey, it just gives you that nice haul down. So, when you have mediums and heavies in the most important area of the map, you have a supporting tank here just to prevent people from poking over and shooting. Another supporting area for mediums and heavies is, of course, you've seen it before, all the way on the right side, this hill right here. IS-7s can go haul down here. You have your STBs, your Pattons, E5s, stuff like that. You can also go behind this rock like this, poke up around here, and try and have shots. But keep in mind, this is very dangerous because look at what bush is right there. Tank destroyers, right? So you have to be very careful when using this area. Haul down tanks definitely recommended. IS-7s, IS-4s, something that is very durable. If you try and poke sideways in a CDC, expect to get rocked by tank destroyers and everything that is tunneling that location. So those 2 spots that I've showed off, this one right here, and then the spot. I tried to combine side and spot. The spot on the far side, all the way over there. Those are both mirrorable on both sides. If you're in your mediums or lights, right, this area in general is good. Something that you can try and do as another spot location, using this right here to put shots at heavies that try and cross. This exists on both sides. Also going like this is kind of a flat area and it allows you to get some gun depression in an STB or a Leopard quickly and just fire across and back away. You still have that terrain advantage on people. But like I said, be very careful when doing this because, if you get spotted and you're not quick about it, you will get hit by a lot of big guns. So it is possible to get away with doing that, but controlling this middle hill, committing a medium here is super important. Additionally, only on this side you can look through here and get a shot. I know that was like 2 seconds, but I'm going to show that soon enough. Let's do this again. I know these map videos are a little longer, but this is back to basics. I know I haven't done one in a long time, and I'm excited to be doing them again. So let me just quickly show off that one spot. And it only exists on the one side. Unfortunately, it does not exist on the other side. So this side right here, it does not exist. As you can see, I am running over spotting, and I get my spots here. I'm able, this nice little flat part allows me to spot. Boom, fire across, and back down immediately. Now on this side, right, when you're here, you can always look through this little opening like this, and as people are crossing from this middle area to the C area, you can fire a shot across. People try and push. You're above them, which means your armor is automatically, a heck of a ton better, and you're able to fire down on their armor plates. But let me quickly show that spot off real quick with how you can get shots. When people try and poke that area where I said you get rocked by tank destroyers, they try and poke this ridge. You have a little bit of gun depression here, and it will allow you to put shots over here. So it's something that I do frequently that most people don't realize is I do this. I poke up right here, actually. And people will poke past this rock. So this rock right here that I'm aiming at, and I just fired at, and then this rock that's closest to you. So there's this small little opening right here that people will try and poke over. This gives you a chance to shoot into their turret and simply back down super quick. That's a really cheeky shot that most people don't know about, and I think it would really benefit a lot of you to use it on this side, especially when you see people poking like this. However, keep in mind, if you get rushed, don't try and stay. Always back down. Take your haul down position like this, and now you are haul down on people like that. Or people trying to poke through like that. I know I'm not necessarily the best explainer of everything at times. Now for the last 5 minutes, let me go over the most important part of the map right here. This is where you want to be. Patents, IS-3s, E50Ms, pretty much everything under the sun except in maybe an FB2 and 5B. You can work it here. It's a little difficult, but this is where you want tanks. It doesn't really matter what it is, but this is where you want to play your game, right? Because once you dominate here, this allows you to put shots at the people poking the ridge. That's going to be a ridge fight. You have the open opportunity to take shots over here. There may be people in this supporting positions or this supporting position here that I showcased. It allows you to get the base and start ticking up on points. There may be people engaging you at C, but this ridge right here is the most important area in the game. If you have the opportunity to take this area, do it. It will allow you to put shots at the people you are battling right on your opposite end right here, your opposite number, boom, take a shot, pull back immediately. Keep in mind that there are tank destroyers in the bush, so make sure you blind fire, try and draw their fire if they're there and back down, but don't get hit too much. If they start rushing you, stay as close to the ridge as possible, like this, and simply back down. This will make it very difficult for them to penetrate you. They have to come all the way around, point their gun down, turn their turret, which should give tank destroyers enough time and opportunity to fire in at them and kill them. Never try and poke over like this. Never ever. If you are here, this is bad. Okay? Because keep in mind, if I poke over like this, it opens me up to tank destroyer fire. People will try and rush you over this little ridge sometimes, and this is why you want to get right here. This allows you to fire at their track them, and tank destroyers can take care of the rest of the job if they're there. But like I said, most important area of the map right here. Everything exists. Oh, well, here's something really interesting. This is something that is better on the other side. So each side has its own intricacies. I showed on this side over here, this little spot that you can use that I'm firing at right now, right, to get shots at the area all the way over here. But now I'm going to show something very interesting on this side that only exists on this, and that is this tree. Something that may interest you if you were on this side is you should always try and knock down this tree like this. What this does is it gives yourself a silhouette, more camouflage to go against tank destroyers, and it makes you harder to hit in general. So if I'm like in an Object 140 and a T-62A, I can poke like this, fire shots into that bush over there, and pull back. pretty much unspotted. And also, this gives me the advantage against tanks that are right there. So like if I'm in an E50M or an STB-1, I can safely poke a little bit more safely. And since I'm silhouetted behind this thing, it makes my weak points masked. So there is an advantage to this side as well. So it really is just abusing the really intricate advantages of each side of this. So for the north side, it's this tree that you can knock down. Then for the other side, it's using this spot. Or I should say the south side, it's abusing this right here, where you can get shots easily. I'm not having the best driving right now, trying to explain at the same time. Point, fire. So very small intricacies that you can use. Sometimes in a heavy tank, if you're like in an IS-7 or an IS-4, you can try and rush and take it right here. And if you can get here and go haul down, this is super nice because you'll be able to spot people super quick and their tank destroyers are trapped and you can really work them over from here. I've only done this I can count on one hand the number of times I've done this, but it really is just reading the other team, and that just comes with experience and time. So don't just YOLO into this area. But if you think heavies are going to be crossed, you think tank destroyers are going to be there, and you think you have enough balls and enough ability to weather the storm in this location, try it. IS-7s, just speed boost to this area, poke up like that, with your super strong Russian Blitz turret, and go to town, right? But keep in mind, you need to have the adequate tank destroyer support to work the area, because if no one's behind you and people decide to rush you, well, then it's game over. If this is supremacy, people may try and cap B. If that's the case, and if they try and poke in this area or adjacently on the other side, right, it's mirrored on the other side, simply back down like this, use your gun depression, or if you don't have much gun depression, use this small ridge right here like this, and it should give you shots. Of course, using this upper area, because this means plates are flat, right, instead of being down there and trying to fire up at them, this is probably your best bet right here. And then backing down. But like I said, you want to be vigilant of anyone poking through this little break in the rocks. Now, the last thing I want to show you real quick is just some of the other spots on the town side should you go. Encounter cap, you never want to go to the encounter cap, as that's right on the front of the ship. I'm not too good with the sailor's terms. I'm not sure, do you call it the front? I know what, port and starboard, and that's about it. But never go to the encounter cap on that map. It's suicide. If you're looking to play B, if you're in a heavy tank, actually, right, you can sometimes make a play for B early. Go here, go haul down, fire through here, make a play for B. IS-7s, this is really good for you. Like right here, make a play like this. It's really nice. If you're in a heavy tank and you don't feel comfortable playing the town, if you don't feel comfortable playing the field, play the B area and flank around like this. Because if you can get to the other side, so if I was on the north side attacking the south, if I can get to around here, this allows me to get shots into all this middle area and annihilate their mediums. I can additionally, and because this exists on the other side as well, I can continue pushing up, push right here. This should give me even better shots at them all the way around this area. But keep in mind, this allows me to pressure the tank destroyers, but this also allows the tank destroyers to pressure you. So don't get caught in a wave of big guns when you're like this. But like I said, the farthest you should go in a heavy is around this B area. Never go to the ship area. It is absolute suicide. Granted, I know it is different for competitive. You kind of need to play a stalemate for competitive on this map. But, for pubs, you want to play the field immediately because it is much safer to get the shots. Since 7 people aren't on Discord communicating, it is, the reality of it is that the field is the better side, right? Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to show. There really aren't spots actually, I take that back. There is one spot that you can abuse to reset A from around the B area. And that only exists on the south side. It is these colored ship containers right here. if you side scrape off like this off of the ship container in an IS-4, it should give you shots into A if they are like right in the middle of it. Granted, I would say this is pretty basic stuff for heavies, around the town. If you're hell bent, if your team is going here, you're playing town, bunch of side scraping stuff, you can use really basic stuff like this or right here, like this. Pretty basic stuff. If someone's capping B and you happen to be around here, this exists on both sides. You can poke like this, and you can look into B. You'll be able to see them get a shot into their hull or their turret, depending on how tall they are. Like I said, that spot exists on both sides. And I guess the most basic spot of them all, right? You're right at A, side scraping like this. I guess, right? Not something I'd normally try and do. You can also sit like this, but like I said, if they win the field, you're in trouble, so don't try and do that all the time. Anyways, that is Yamato Harbor. Basic stuff that you want to keep in mind. Play the field. Get control over C. You need to have tanks, contesting C, because if you don't take it, they're gonna get too much map control, and they're just simply gonna run you over. They're gonna wheel you down and then run you over. So, if you're a destroyer, this is probably one of the best maps for a destroyer. Something for a treat for Jagdpanzer E100 drivers. This is how I got my 8,000 damage game, was in the Jagdpanzer E100. I was simply able to abuse this bush, and I was able to go sit right here. The rear-mounted turreted nature of this allows me to peek over this right here and see enemies that are crossing into the spawn. This exists on both sides. Allows me to fire, pull back, and because I'm on a hill, it points my armor up, and it makes my armor more difficult to pen. So stuff like this is super important. So you can defend the spawn like this in heavies as well. Takes like the M103E5. Fire across shots like that, but keep in mind when you're like this, you are exposed to tank destroyer fire over here. So be vigilant of that bush, and make sure you're not getting blasted in the side, because once you fire around here and they're spotted around here, you yourself are going to get spotted, and it opens you up to fire from the other side. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to be fancy around this area, but that is just quite a little special Easter egg treat for you on how to abuse it. Anyways, guys, that is Yamato Harbor. If you like that content, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. And if you didn't, please leave your constructive criticism in the comment section. Thank you for allowing me to share my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.